I have no doubt in my mind that the 76ers are the wild card team of the Eastern Conference. As someone who has covered the Ben Simmons, James Harden, Tobias Harris eras, and a whole bunch more with this team over the last 6 years, this is by far the craziest season. The highs, the lows, the ups, the downs, the chaos, the unpredictability. We don't know what's happening next with this Sixers team. It is driving all of us insane. And with 25 games to go, we're going to break down a little bit more as to why this team is the wild card team of the Eastern Conference. And we will talk about some things around the rest of the conference that could shake things up very shortly. All that and more coming up here on Philly Take with RB. But welcome into the show. I am RB. Ladies and gentlemen, look at this schedule. The 76ers this whole season do the same exact thing. They win 4 or 3 in a row. Then they lose 3 out of 4. Then they beat a team that they should not beat. Then they lose to a team like the Pelicans the other night. They win 2, they lose 3. They win 3, they lose 4. They go into the deadline. They win 5 in a row after getting blown out by 40 by Charlotte. Then they lose 5 out of their next 6 after trading away Jared McCain. And then they come back and they stomp a top 10 defense in the Timberwolves and they blow out the Pacers last night. So all that to say, who knows what's happening next with this Sixers team? I do think it is very uncertain. Now, I have made my thoughts clear, especially after the trade deadline. I thought that was a failure. But the fact of the matter is, if they would get a healthy Joel Embiid, they, of course, have a chance against anybody, right? But they also need Paul George back. He's going to come back with 10 games left in the season. Can he really get his rhythm under him? Well, that remains to be seen. But again, I go back to the conference, and this is why I still am so frustrated that Joshua Harris and Daryl Morey did not do more at the trade deadline, because you look at this conference. Now, the Pistons, give them credit. They have been very tough physically, mentally this year. Cade Cunningham looks like an all-world superstar. He's been doing his thing. And the Pistons are well coached, and I do think they have a shot to make it deep into the playoffs. And we're going to get to some more on the Celtics and the Cavaliers and teams like that a little later on. But my overall consensus is that the conference is still wide open. Like going into the playoffs, I don't have a team in my mind in this conference, at least, where I'm like, yeah, they're going all the way. They are definitively better than everybody else. I really don't. If you disagree, let me know down below. We're going to get into some more about those other teams in just a few minutes. But I do want to talk about the 76ers because, again, they come back last night and they do exactly what I'm just talking about with Joel Embiid, who had not played in, I think it was 17 days. He steps on the floor. No, he did not look good defensively. He was ramping up, but offensively, he is one of the most talented basketball players I've ever seen with my own 2 eyes. He had like 20 points in the first 15 minutes. He's dominating. I know, a bad team, but he's just so good when he gets into that flow state offensively. There's just no stopping Joel. Whether it's the Pacers or any other team in the NBA, nobody can stop Joel Embiid at full health. And we saw that for a month straight. Then he missed 5 games. People are frustrated. The injury thing is what it is. You know, we can't do anything about it. They're going to give us little transparency, and we have to hope and pray that this team is managed correctly and they get them to the playoffs healthy, firing on all cylinders. But as my guy Josh says here, man, a walk-in 30 piece, has not played in 3 weeks, rolls out, drops 27, 6, and 5. So Joel Embiid is a freak athlete. They need him on the floor. He is very good at basketball. Simple as that. You look at Joel Embiid over his last 10 games. I know there was a big gap in between here, but 27, 33, 35, 24, 40, 37, 29. I mean, the guy is unbelievable. And when he is on the floor, I mean, you just see the difference in the Sixers, whether it's their body language, the way guys move off ball, the way they get to their spots, the defensive gravity. VJ said it a couple games ago. He's like, we need Joel, not just for his 30 points a game, but the gravity that he relays to all of us on the floor, like how he can get guys open and the double teams that he commands and all that stuff. So Joel Embiid is really good at basketball. Will he be on the floor come playoff time? I really hope so. I would love to see Joel have one healthy playoff run. He said that himself. He said, I would trade my MVP for one healthy playoff run. So we'll see if it happens. But really the big leap this year has come from Tyrese Maxey. And I'm done talking about whether he's having a great season or not. Like I said yesterday on Twitter and on the live show, if you are not bought in on Tyrese Maxey's season right now, you are absolutely delusional, or you are just one of these Embiid fan pages that just cannot understand or respect the fact that Maxey and Embiid are both leading this team. I mean, they're just such an amazing duo. They play off each other so well at full health, and just seeing the type of leap that Maxey has made this year is incredible. And last night, Maxey drops 32, 9, and 8 in 3 quarters, by the way. Would have had a triple-double if he had played in the fourth quarter. The game before that, he drops 39. It's good to see Maxey have the legs back under him. And again, it's just like, if the Sixers get this version of Maxey, who is well-rested, and they get VJ playing like he did yesterday, contributing in all areas, and they get an MVP Joel Embiid, I just think the Sixers could be a dark horse in the Eastern Conference. This was my favorite play, maybe in a long time, from Tyrese Maxey. And no, it is not the poster dunk that he almost threw down on Micah Potter, which would have been the best play of his career, maybe. But for all the people that say Maxey can't play make, he gets a pass from Trendon Watford, and Watford's going to come up and set the screen. Maxey's going to have 2 defenders, one trying to get around a screen and another one switched. And look at the way he goes through this. Behind the back, seamless, flowing, not even close to getting in his way. And then he's going to pull in the big, who gets split between him and Embiid, and he's going to dime it off, no look to Joel for a dunk. I mean, that right there is just perfect execution. It is just poetic basketball right there. And Tyrese Maxey is able to do those things now. He has become a much smarter player. Yes, he gets into these stretches where he is turnover prone and he kind of starts shot chucking a bit, but I think he does that more when Joel's not on the floor, when PG's not on the floor, and he kind of gets, tunnel vision. He wants to do a little more and overcompensate. But with Joel Embiid on the floor, you saw how easy the game was for Tyrese Maxey, and the game before that, he did it without Joel Embiid. So again, I go back to the same point. If this team is healthy on the floor, and obviously I don't think they have that deep of a bench, I think they should have upgraded more, but even with the starting lineup, I do think that those guys are probably going to have to play 45 minutes in a playoff game. Will that burn them out? We'll see. But they will have a shot if everybody can get on the floor. And I know a lot of people have been talking about Paul George, whether he has an impact or not. Well, here is the defensive rating numbers for the Sixers. If we weed out all of the guys that barely play or barely get any minutes, let me see if I can move this over here. Yeah, there we go. Like Dalen Terry, Patrick Baldwin, who's not even here, Beauchamp. If we weed out all these guys, the main 2 that actually play are Adem Bona and Paul George, and they are tied for the highest defensive rating on the team. So the 114 rating for both of them shows the impact that they have, and obviously it shows with Bona, right? We wish Bona could really take that leap offensively, and even if he could just develop like a post hook or something that was consistent, I think Bona's minutes would be a lot more valuable. But the Sixers really need Paul George defensively. I mean, we've said it for a while, and people tried to say this thing like, oh, it was a blessing in disguise when he went out and, all this other stuff. But I think they really need Paul George. And I was looking at the on-off numbers right here. And again, weeding out the players that don't really play that much. You have Joel Embiid number 1 at 6.5, Maxey at 6.4, and then Paul George is number 3 at 5.9. So again, just shows the impact and the value that he has had defensively. I think when all 3 of them are on the floor, VJ is a lot more comfortable because he's not seeing a lot of attention from the top defenders. And I think, again, those 4 right there could duel with anybody. Again, have to be on the floor. It is the biggest question we have been asking ourselves for years. If healthy is the slogan for this team. But speaking of if healthy, I want to talk about some other teams coming up, because today there was an update from Shams Charania. Sleeper is a fantasy sports and real money gaming app that is taking things to the next level. They are the best one-stop shop for all your sports needs. You can chat on games in real time with other users. You can get the latest news, scores, and alerts right at your fingertips. And you can play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. With Sleeper's Picks, all you have to do is choose anywhere from 2 to 8 of your favorite players. This could be pregame, live game, or even across different sports. And then you just pick pick the over or under, more or less than the predicted stats. That's it. You can make these entries in less than 30 seconds with a $1 minimum entry. And on Sleeper, if your picks win, you can get up to 1,000 times your payout. So right now, download the Sleeper app, use the promo code PhillyTake, and get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. And right now, as a special promo, Sleeper is actually offering a free $20 entry with no deposit required. All you have to do is sign up and use the code PhillyTake to claim your free promo. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. That James Harden has now sustained a fracture in his right thumb during Tuesday's win over the New York Knicks. Harden is undergoing evaluation and treatment. Then we get a follow-up saying that James Harden plans to play through a fractured right thumb, which usually is about like a 4 to 6 week recovery. Now, there's a bunch of breakdowns here going on with Harden. I don't know what he broke or how severe it is, but Shams Charania is kind of bouncing all around, and it seems like Harden's going to try to suit up, which I don't know how that's going to work. It is on his non-shooting hand, which makes it a lot easier, but I do think this will have a bit of an impact on his game, especially if they go swiping and try to knock the ball out of his hands. So the Cavaliers could take a hit here, and they've been playing really well. They had won 7 in a row. Then they lost to the Thunder. And I said the Harden honeymoon phase is about to be over. So the Cavaliers could take a dip. You have the New York Knicks, who continue to get smoked by all the top teams, whether it's the Cavaliers last night or the Pistons or whoever else in the Eastern Conference. So honestly, the New York Knicks are showing signs of fraudulent. The Toronto Raptors have been up and down this year. I don't think they really have like a deep playoff championship contending team. They're a good story. And the rest of these teams are just they're just average. But the one team I did not mention outside of Detroit is the Boston Celtics. And the Sixers will end up seeing the Celtics on Sunday night. And I'm afraid to say, but they might have Jayson Tatum back. Jayson Tatum, according to Shams, has been a full participant in 5-on-5. And the Boston Celtics last game went on a 50-11 run. Now, this just goes to show that good coaching does matter. And same thing with a system. Joe Mazzulla is a great coach. I mean, the Celtics came into this year and they said, all right, Tatum's probably going to be out all year. We'll see what Jaylen Brown can do. We're going to trade away Porzingis, and we're going to trade away Holiday and Anthony Simons. We got him. We're going to trade him away, get under the tax, and we're just going to really build out for the future. But they're playing so damn well right now. The Celtics have won 9 out of 10. They've won 4 in a row. They're the second seed in the Eastern Conference. And you're looking at some of these games and these teams, and you're like, how are they doing this? I mean, look at their lineup. Look at these stats. First off, shout out to Jaylen Brown. He deserves a ton of credit. People continue to say this guy can't do it. He can. He's averaging 29 a game, and he was the Finals MVP for a reason. And without Jayson Tatum all season, he has been carrying the load. But in addition to him, Peyton Pritchard, a guy that I really liked coming out of that draft, who's mostly come off the bench in his career, 17 points a game, 5 dimes. Derek White is always that spark plug for that team. He's kind of an X factor. And, they trade for Nikolai Vucevic, who's been decent off the bench. But look at these other guys on the team, man. Luka Garza, Josh Minott, Baylor Shireman, a first-round pick, Hugo Gonzalez. You're like, how are they even making this happen? Well, for one, they're a really good defensive team. They play team defense. They communicate well. They have belief in each other. They have Sam Hausers of the world knocking down 4 threes a game. But you're just like, wow, how is this team surviving? And if they get Jayson Tatum back and they're already playing this good together in a season where I thought they had absolutely no chance, then I would say the Celtics might be the other dark horse wildcard team. Because if they continue to play like this and add Jayson Tatum on top, and he is 100%, then the Celtics could give any team a run for their money. And that's my honest thoughts. I am starting to believe more in the Detroit Pistons, but again, a game like the other night where they play against the Spurs, a team that's longer, more athletic, they got owned pretty much. And Wemby didn't even shoot the ball well. He contributed in other ways. But I think the Pistons definitely are beatable. They've had a very fun season. They deserve a lot of credit. You saw what they did in that playoff series against the Knicks last year. They're going to be tough. I think the Pistons and Celtics are legit at this point. But again, tying it back to the Sixers, if they are healthy, if they get everybody on the floor, maybe their starting 5 will have a chance to at least win some games. in a playoff series and try to get them to the second round or maybe even the conference finals. But it does feel like a bit of a long shot based on the history, right? They all have to go out there and do it. Do you think they will? What do you think happens? Who is your favorite in the Eastern Conference? Give me your thoughts down below. Appreciate everybody for tapping in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That being said, I will catch you on the next one. Peace.